should be with the real girl.
Who are you? I am from ancient Greece.
I don't.
Max and Ruby, Ruby and Max.
Cantorious, you are so awesome, yes. Cantorious, I love you so.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6.
Okay, you know what I hate in the system community? The amount of misinformation that's spread around by people on System Talk. It genuinely pisses me off when people only talk about the alter aspect of DID and they don't mention anything else about the other symptoms that come along with DID. Like the daydreaming, the mass amounts of amnesia, the depersonalization, the derealization, the lost sense of identity, the pseudo-memories, aka false memories. Also, the people who claim that alters are fully separate identities, they aren't fully separate identities. They're fragments of one identity that never fully merged together as a kid. And I think when I say that, a lot of people take it as me saying that alters are not their own people with their own feelings and their own opinions and their own, like, wants and needs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that all alters in some way are connected. They're not fully different people. They all are connected in some way. So, also integration and, like, some kind of fusion is needed for recovery. Of course, not final fusion. That's your choice. Like, we're not doing final fusion because that just sounds way too scary, and a lot of the alters in our system, like, don't agree with that. But during healing, like, fusion and, like, integration is gonna happen because you're healing from your trauma, and so alters are gonna merge with each other, and they're gonna, like, fuse with each other. And it's, like, inevitable. It's, like, you can't control it, it's not. Because it's part of the healing process. Also, please stop censoring dormancy, integration, fusion, splitting, and other stuff like that. It's super harmful and it's super anti-gravity.
It's under the sauce.
There's no cheese on it.
It's under the sauce.
Like, I'm Italian and this is hurting me.
It's from Chicago.
Where's the cheese?
It's under.
I did not expect that video to blow up, but it has, and people are asking this: what is a subsystem? Subsystem can be a couple of different things, and I'll try to explain it as clearly as possible. So one type, which is sometimes also referred to as a side system, is a section that's off from the main system. It might be like you go down some steps, or there's like some kind of portal or gate, but often the alters in the main system don't know about it right away, or the host doesn't know about it, and only certain alters can access it. Generally speaking, as far as I'm aware, people in the subsystems don't normally front. Not to say that they can't, and there are some alters that are very good at going in between the subsystem and the main system, but often the subsystems will also kind of have their own structure. Like, there will be a host of the subsystem, and there will be a gatekeeper and persecutors and protectors, like it's just another system, but it's an offshoot of the main one. To go between these systems is actually the proper use of the word system hopping. It should not be used to mean to go from your brain to someone else's. That is actually not possible. And some people have appropriated it to mean that. What it actually means is when you have multiple systems, you have a main system, you have subsystems, some alters can go between them with a great deal of ease, or sometimes some will get sent to different systems for various reasons. That is the true meaning of system hopping. The other type of subsystem is when alters have alters. So that's the type of subsystem that I am the host of. I am Anera. And I have, if you imagine like the drawing of like a head, little alters in it, and then like one of the alters is drawn slightly bigger than the other, and they have little stick figures inside them. That's kind of what it is to me, that sort of subsystem. You can also think of it as a nesting doll. You open it and there's another. So I have a little version of me in my subsystem. I have a couple of full-fledged alters with their full names and identities. I have some fragments, and I think I also have a fair few fragments who don't even have names. But it's just another way of compartmentalizing up the system. And it's a little bit different than the first kind of subsystem that I mentioned, but it's basically when alters have alters. Like, certain alters will have sections of the inner world or fragments within themselves that are their alters and not just the rest of the system's alters. I hope that made it somewhat clear.
I thought you'd never ask.
Hi! Would you like to take a second to talk about our Lord and Savior goth chicks and fishnets?
It's levels to it, you and I know. Bitch, be humble. Holla, bitch, sit down.
I've been feeling really insecure and I just... Never mind, I dyed my hair. I feel great. Take care.
You're wearing a wedding dress. To my wedding.
This is not a wedding dress. It's a white floor-length gown. It's very different.
Did it come with a veil?
No, it came with a headdress.
What?
It came with like a white tulle headdress.
Teeny problem. You mess with my friends. everyone for themselves, right?
Some out there who have like interjects of their abusers, because I do, and I can't deal with it. Like, how has the person who caused this still somehow managed to control us?
How are you? I'm good, how are you? Good. And you have the medium ice white milk on your switch shots, 2 extra scoops of vanilla soft top and caramel drizzle, and extra sugar sprinkles? Yeah, that's me. Oh, man. Not again.
Sorry, first time being kidnapped, kinda nervous. So, like, why did you pick me? Do you think I'm cute?
I'm gonna kill you.
Okay, daddy vibes, we love a bad boy king, and I wanna die.
There's something wrong with your generation. Freeze! Police! You're safe now, ma'am.
Okay, ew, police, it's not that deep, chill, and did you just assume my gender? Because that's offensive.
But I'm here to say-
That's offensive.
But you were-
That's offensive.
Stop believing people when they say, this is fact, on TikTok. TikTok is not a reliable educational source. If someone says, this is fact, on the internet, they need to provide a quote from a source, and they need to provide a link to that source. That's what we have been doing. People who have been making videos about us have been saying this is misinformation, and because they have a bigger platform than we do, people believe that. No. Go find the most reliable source that you can, and look it up. We wanted to share some of our resources to prove that, in fact, we are not spreading misinformation. The first thing we wanted to address is the fact that plurality is not the same thing as dissociative identity disorder, and it is not caused by trauma. Here is our source for that. This book is called Transgender Mental Health by Eric Yarborough. Here are the key points. Plurality refers to what many mental health professionals know as dissociative identities. Plurality is not the same as dissociative identity disorder, but makes up one part of it. Many plural people are quite happy with alters present inside them. Plurality is not necessarily caused by trauma, although trauma can be part of the overall picture. Eric Yarborough, the man who wrote the book, is a very, very accredited psychiatrist. Here's a screenshot of all of his accomplishments and such directly from his website. You have more than one person in your brain if you don't have trauma. First off, you could not remember that trauma, which is common with dissociative disorders. But we're not talking about dissociative disorders. We're talking about plurality, which is caused by dissociation, but doesn't necessarily mean that you have a dissociative disorder. Let's talk about what is dissociation. Dissociation is the act of separation. Separation from yourself, separation from your emotions, separation from your surroundings. That separation can create its own mindset, which then can form into its own individual person.
No, no, no!
Making a headmate and making you plural. You don't need trauma for this to happen, but if you do have dissociative identity disorder, you have a 90% chance of trauma being the main cause of it. Since everyone in the world dissociates, everybody has the possibility of becoming or already being a system, and some people even make their own systems on purpose. Dissociation is a lot. It can come in a lot of forms, and it does a lot of shit. Some common forms of dissociation that can cause headmates that we've seen over and over and over again is writing. Writing, reading, consuming media, those sort of things can create headmates. So you're writing something. You're writing like your favorite character, OC, whatever, you're writing about them. You're putting yourself in a separate headspace. You're putting yourself in a separate mindset than the way you currently normally think. Because right now you're thinking about what's going on around you. You're thinking about your surroundings. You're thinking about what you're saying, what you're doing. Now you're thinking about what would it be like to be in this character's situation, so you can realistically write their thoughts and feelings. That mindset is dissociated from everything that's going on in your real life and becomes its own person in your brain. And that person, as it becomes more and more dissociated from your reality, as it builds upon itself more and more, as it becomes more real, becomes a headmate. The same thing can happen when you're consuming media or even just dissociating from your emotions. A lot of people dissociate from their emotions and they don't even realize that they're dissociating from their emotions. Have you ever felt something or someone's asked you how you're feeling and you genuinely couldn't give them an answer? Yeah, that's dissociation.
Get a load of this monster. He doesn't know how to communicate. His mind is in a different place. Will everybody please give him a little bit of space? Get a load of this train wreck. His hair's a mess and he doesn't know who.
Please, Daddy, please. You know that I want one of these. Plus, all my friends got cars when they turned 16. Dad, please, I want a white Jeep.
What the fuck? WH? Bro.
We were your standard nuclear family with 2 cats. Just 2. We never got another cat ever again. Until one day.
And every second that I waste is another second sooner to a blessing I won't take. But my therapist will tell me that I'm going through a stage. Yeah, it's not a fucking stage. I just want to feel okay. Okay, motherfucker, now you got my attention.
What y'all get for number 12?
I got 18. I got 9.5. I got Abraham Lincoln for some reason.
But obviously, if a system shows up with, 100 parts that are from fictional media, a lot of people on the internet get very bent over it. Why? So I was wondering, what can systems do to help break the stigma of what appears to be fictives or tons of fictives, to allow Ramcoa systems to heal and to grow in ways that maybe other systems aren't aware of that's what's happening, Any thoughts?
They have DID. Or no, they don't have DID. They are system coded. This stupid, silly robot has alternative identity. And this bitch is the evil alter. Little Miss, white woman jump scare, and her evil fucking persona. Now be warned, at this part, I'm going to talk about programming and maybe Ramco a little bit, but mainly I'm just going to call it programming just to be general. If you know about FNAF, and you know about this character, Vanessa, and all of her lore, like all of it, like you watch the MatPat videos, you need to look me in my eyes as a dissociative person to dissociative person and tell me that this is not a victim of programming. You don't need to look me in my eyes and tell me that's not a victim of programming. When I tell you that this character is so programmed, system coded, specifically, I'm saying programmed, system coded, not just like system coded, because like we've seen, I think like maybe, what was it? Like a scrapped animation of Vanessa literally like switching into Vanny or like putting on the costume and all that shit. When I tell you that this woman was programmed...
Nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
You said please don't ever change, but you don't like me the way I am. The sign says don't you tap the glass, but I read it in reverse.
Рацацай, аривида бедила, парит станди, ландо, пари факта, пари, бери, бери, станде, ландо, я барила, стелланде, ело, аравараваравараварава, дивилу, бари, стан, ландо, падака, дака, дудуде, ело. Рацацай, аривида бедила, парит станде, ландо, пари факта, пари, бери, станде, ландо, я барила, стелланде, ело, аравараваравараварава, дивилу, бари, стан, ландо, падака, дака, дудуде, ело.
I spoke about the 8-passenger situation with Ruby Frankie, and I thought I was done speaking on that, and that I was just going to move on, and the next video was going to be about types of programs that were not the Greek letter ones. I was wrong. Some more stuff has come out about that family. Ruby's sisters, Julie and Bonnie Frankie. They publicly have said that, oh, they don't have anything to do with Ruby, like, they didn't believe in her extremism. She was involved in a cult called Connections, run by somebody named Jody Hildebrand, and they were like, oh, we thought those beliefs were too extreme, and, we didn't know how bad it was. But video proof has recently surfaced that they did know, that they listened to podcasts by that cult leader, that they would let Ruby discipline, reprogram their kids. And I want to talk in particular about Julie Franke and this book called Parenting with Love and Logic that she used. So first, let me talk about what's in the book, and then I'm going to talk about the book's author and what he did. So in the book itself, there are some basic Ramkoa tactics like isolation, hard labor, and bathroom control, just advertised as good punishments for kids. Now, on to one of the authors of this book and what he did, Foster Cline. He is a huge proponent and a huge founder of something called attachment therapy. So, strong sitting is one of the tactics, which is prolonged silence and immobility, enforced. They probably enforced it by pain. Just sitting, perfectly silent and obedient for long periods of time. Wonder what that sounds like. Withholding food, that's another common brainwashing tactic. It's one that was kind of backhandedly used on us. He would cleanse the children of their perceived connection to Satan. The method in particular, I believe, that was cited as being most useful in cleansing them of being satanic, was being put in restraint for a prolonged period of time and in a way that was supposed to incite extreme rage. Now you might wonder what the purpose of that is. They claim it's catharsis. Well, in programming inciting states of extreme rage that can be triggered by a cue, that's literally delta programming, and it has a multiplicity of purposes. Being so dissociated that they no longer cared what was being done to them and would be fun to be around, i.e. quickly compliant with every wish of their handler, therapist, and other adults around them.
Oye, tú. ¿Qué te pasa? ¿Qué miras?
I was just wondering if Britney has multiple personality disorder or DID. First, we've got Rose.
Hello, I am the host of a DID system, and I actually think your theory is probably very correct. And let me explain some of the ins and outs of this, right? So there's what they call organic DID, which is where the brain simply creates these identities because of trauma. And it does it completely on its own. And then there's what they call programmed DID. There's a lot more information about that on my page. And it's when someone either creates the system of alters in the first place in childhood, or later on, after someone's already a system, they create alters on purpose to do their bidding.
This picture is of Britney Spears, or is it? She looks tired. She looks vulnerable, a little more delicate, different than the kind of person. And I happened upon this woman who can read energies. What she's saying about Beyonce and Britney are similar things that I've heard from other people. I just thought, wow, this is fascinating. She really lays it out there in an easy, palatable way to hear what's going on with them, and I thought you might be interested to see.
Britney Spears' aura. I was not sure I was going to do this one, but here we go. First of all, I want to say that when I tuned into her energy, I discovered something very upsetting. I found that she's actually not operating her own mind, but she's still conscious inside of her mind. So she's able to watch what's happening to her body and self, but she's not operating herself.
That means that one of her alters introduced themselves to her 3 years ago, or that she was able to connect and realize, oh, Rose is part of me, and that's one of my alters. So took a picture of Rose.
There's been theories bouncing around that Hollywood does this programming, this creation of alters. To various celebrities on purpose. Some of the stories are probably far-fetched tinfoil hat type shit. However, I'm sure there has to be some truth to them somewhere, and Britney looks like one of the truest ones to me. There's videos where we've seen where it seems like someone says a trigger word and she switches to a different alter. Like, I fully believe that she has programmed DID and that the people around her are exploiting it. That if they didn't create her system, if it instead just formed by trauma, not intentional creation, I believe they're using it, and they're using it to make her look crazy. We're not crazy. We're just traumatized. And I believe she is too. And seeing all of those pictures, just, it really cemented to me that that theory is probably true, and it makes me really sad.